Verse 9. Okay, verse 9. As Paul spoke on and on, and on, and on, a young man named Eutychus, sitting on the windowsill, became very drowsy. I wonder why. Finally, he sank into a deep sleep and fell 3 stories into his depth below. Gone. Paul went down, bent over him, and took him into his arms. Don't worry, he said, he's alive. Then they all went back upstairs and ate the Lord's Supper together. And Paul continued talking with them until dawn. Then he left. Now, here's what I'm going to suggest to you. Earlier in verse 7, okay, Luke the author here is setting up a scene. Before, from verse 1 to 6, he's giving you all those different details of their travel itinerary, right? Here's who's with us, we went to this place, this place, blah, 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 blah. And now we end up here. Okay? So Paul's gone over the place now. And actually, if you go in the verses after this, this is where Paul eventually gets arrested, gets brought to Rome and all that kind of stuff. Okay? So on the first day, Paul's here preaching. And it begins to get drowsy and dark, and people are starting to kind of nod on and off. Okay, one guy gets so tired that he falls out of the window and dies. I hope that never happens to me. Okay. Now, interesting here. A couple of things. Couple things to notice. All right. First thing is that the whole deal with this guy falling out the window, and then Paul bringing him back to life. Notice that Paul actually doesn't say too much about it. He says basically the guy falls, Paul runs down, picks him up in his arms, and says he's alive. I'm going to suggest verse 11 is where the turning point is. Okay, because now they all go back upstairs, they eat the Lord's Supper together, and then Paul goes on for another 5, 6, 7 hours after midnight. Now think about it for a minute. Okay? Already, Paul's preaching, let's say, 8 p.m. Planning to go up to midnight. So people are starting to get a little bit. One guy goes to Paul runs down. And now they go back up, right? Now, here's the thing to catch here. Why does he go on for another 6 hours? And how do these people actually stay alive? Well, not stay alive. Right? How do they stay awake now for 6 more hours? Here's what I'm going to suggest to you. Okay? Here's what I'm going to suggest to you. The reason why they would stay up for another 6 hours now listening to this guy is because he now has authority behind what he preaches. Now, you see the power behind what he is preaching. Right? And one of us keeled over right now, right? So let's say Fanny, lie down and die, right? And then, no, I'm not saying do it. Don't die. Okay? I don't want to be prophetic in that sense, all right? But let's say hypothetically, Fanny here, lay down, died, right? And then Caleb runs up, and next thing you know, it just kind of prays over him, and next thing you know, it, Fanny comes alive again. Chances are, all right, I'm gonna assume you're actually going to listen to whatever this guy says now. Because, oh my, what the, right? I mean, think about it. Think about when Jesus went around healing, casting out demons and healing people. Whenever he did that, people began to look at him and saying, this guy has authority. Right? This guy has authority behind what he's saying. And if you begin to see that this guy is preaching something, and now he's got some kind of additional supernatural power that backs him up, you're going to want to listen.